Mike with Tech PB, and you guys are probably wondering, you know, this is probably my first show I've ever done in long sleeves, and you want to know why I'm in long sleeves, because I'm in my garage, about to put some Virtue in my DM9, and it's cold here in Tampa right now. It's 54 degrees already. You haven't felt cold until you've been in Tampa when it's 54 degrees out. I mean, you will freeze your ass solid, all right? The humidity down here is a killer. 54 degrees right now, that's why I'm wearing long sleeves. But more importantly, we have one of the first ever Virtue OLED boards for the DM series guns. And we also have the one of the first runs of the Virtue prototype grips. Now these aren't the grand, these aren't the grand release ones, the final release ones. But what we will do is we'll just put these on there and kind of show you what it looks like. But more importantly, we have one of the first ever OLED boards, Virtue OLED boards for the DM series guns, the ultralight frames. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to install the Virtue laser eyes into your DM. So hopefully if you watch this video, you're going to learn how to install an aftermarket board without breaking any wires, breaking any wire harnesses, or breaking your board. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the camera, get it a little bit closer. I'm going to show you how to start putting some putting your Virtue in your DM9. So let's go ahead and start taking apart the DM9. First thing you want to do is you want to take your front screw here and give it about 3 or 4 turns out. You don't actually have to take the front screw out on the grip frame. If you just loosen it up just enough, you can slide your grip frame back. Next thing you want to do is remove your rear screw. Completely take that out, which we've already done here. And go ahead and remove your grips. And also while you're at it, you probably want to go ahead and just remove your barrel. Okay. Alright. Now what you can do is just kind of pull the grip frame away. Now what you're going to want to do from here is very carefully grab the sides of your connector. Don't grab the wires and pull it up. Generally on the connectors here, there's a little flange that you can grab with your fingernails and wiggle it up off the board. And if you just wiggle it back and forth, it will come up. The biggest mistake a lot of people make here is they grab the wires and yank it out. These little Molex connectors just cannot handle that. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and pull the frame away. Now's a pretty good time to go ahead and remove the battery. And usually the screwdriver that I recommend for pulling the old board out is one of these little jewelry screwdrivers, these little Phillips head screwdrivers. You kind of get these at the dollar stores. And there's only 2 screws holding it on. Now something you got to pay attention to is inside of the grip frame here you have these little bumpers that are used to push the buttons in. So if you're not careful when you pull your board out, the little bumpers from the membrane pad are going to fall out and you're going to wonder where they're at. So I'll tap them out, tap one out so you can see it here. Okay, so you see this little bumper right here in my hand. You got to make sure that these stay in place and that they don't fall out. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and drop in, spin this around, go ahead and drop in the Virtue OLED board. Okay, you can see it's a perfect fit. Grab the first screw, screw it down. Grab the second screw. There's only 2 screws that hold the board down. Okay. 1 and 2. Alright. So now that the board is in here, we can basically just set this aside. And now let's worry about removing the eyes. Now removing the eyes, first thing you obviously want to do is let's go ahead and remove the eye pipe. Eye pipe comes right out. Just stick your finger in there and pull it right out. And the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to just want to untangle this spaghetti here. They tie this up so it's nice and neat. There we go. Okay. Now, with a pair of needle nose pliers, what you're just going to want to do is reach down inside there and pull the eye bracket up and out. There we go. Out comes the eye bracket. There it is. And now we should be able to feed the eyes up and through the feed neck. There we go. So there's the old, or I'm sorry, not the old, the gun's 2 weeks old, I'm already calling the eyes old. There is the stock DM eyes. Now, we take the new eyes, and usually what I like to do is I like to take a look at how they had the eyes configured. Obviously, as you can see here, they had the eyes bent down. So you want to kind of set these up to do the same thing. Let's go ahead and take it and bend them down at a 90-degree angle. And then we'll take the other one and do the same thing. There we go. So we've got them both bent down at a 90-degree angle. And we can go ahead and stick the eyes into the bracket. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the eyes now stuck into the bracket. Very easy. Okay, and now what we're going to want to do is feed the wire back through the hole that is inside of the body here. Okay, now when you stick this back in, you just basically got to make sure that these little, the rubber thing is facing towards the front of the gun here. So just make sure that these are facing towards the front of the gun, and you just basically just push this down with your finger. You just got to make sure that the eyes stay in the bracket. Okay. Now as it goes down there, it's going to take a little bit of manipulating once it gets down there for it to get back into the groove. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that the eyes are installed there and properly. So what you do is just kind of ream your finger on the inside, make sure there's no pieces of rubber sticking up. Everything's in there nice and flush. And then now what you're just going to do is let's go ahead and take the eye pipe and stick it into the gun. You do need to make sure that the eye pipe is indexed. So there's a little groove there at the bottom. Okay, and our eye pipe is into our gun. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get the grip frame over here and test to make sure our eyes work. Okay, now following the same plane or the same routing of the wires before, let's go ahead and run the wires down the body. The wires before went down the side of the solenoid, so let's go ahead and do the same thing. Now that we know that our wires are put in place, let's go ahead and run them underneath the frame. Now when you look on the board, it's actually going to tell you the socket. It's going to tell you there's one socket here for the solenoid and there's a socket for the eye. So, and you use the top two sockets. There's the solenoid. And there's the eye. Okay, now that we've haven't screwed the grip frame down, but we got it on there, the wires are out of the way, there's nothing pinched. Let's go ahead and install our battery. Let's go ahead and turn our board on. Okay, as you can hear, the board is on. Let's go ahead and check for a color change to make sure that the eyes are working. And the eyes are working, so we've installed our eyes properly. Now let's take a look down inside there. We should see some color. Oh yeah. There's some color there. So we've got our laser eyes in place. We're testing the LED, making sure that they are working. Now let's go ahead and we're going to carefully spin this around. And as you can see here, this is one of the first ever Virtue OLED boards for the ultralight frame. So let's go ahead and get the grip on here and we'll finish putting this back together. Okay, so we got our board installed. We have the grips installed. Now, like I said, these grips are not going to be the final production grips. These are just prototype grips. So when these boards are actually released to the public, this grip is going to look completely different. But let's go ahead and turn it on. There you go. Turns on. And if you guys want to check out all the different modes that come on the Virtue OLED board, check out the video that I did with the OLED board, the training modes, which is probably one of the biggest deals of the OLED board is the training mode. So as you can see inside there, we have the laser eyes. They are up, they are working, and when we stick our finger down inside the gun, you can see the color change from red to blue. So the eyes are installed properly. So hopefully that helps you install your if you get like aftermarket eyes like the Virtue eyes, or install an aftermarket board like the Virtue board into your gun. Hopefully this helps you put it in there so you don't break any wires or break your gun. So email me if you have any questions. Thank you very much.